Okay, well, I think we'll start. I like to start more or less on time. So, hi everyone, my name is Margo and Greta, and this is the fourth session of the Be Your Own Therapist sequence here in July. So today we start with another short meditation as usual and setting our motivation. And then the theme of today, first of all, I want to check if there are questions, but otherwise the theme will be attachment. And I'll introduce pistachio ice cream. So I don't say any more, but that's the theme of today. So let's start with a meditation to bring ourselves present while other people are still arriving. So I invite you to let go of any previous activities, maybe getting up in the morning or whatever has gone on before. Maybe shaking any sleepiness. Bring yourself present in your body. Do that by bringing your attention to your sit bones on the seat. To your feet, either on the floor, if you sit on a chair or so, or if you sit cross-legged, they're somewhere else. And we can scan our body from the feet upwards, giving loving attention to all the parts of your body. Moving your attention upward until you're at the crown of your head. Just for a moment, notice the quality of your attention, and you focus on the crown of your head. What happens when you do that? And then scan your body down again. Just as if there's a waterfall flowing over you. Gently, gradually scanning your body down. All the way to your feet. If you encounter any areas of tension, you can just let go any tension, any discomfort, if that's possible. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Just like we've scanned the body, let's scan our mind or our consciousness. First, notice any thoughts that may be there. We don't need to do anything with them. We have nothing to sort out for now. We don't have to push them away. Just notice them if they're there. And allow them to come and go, just as if they're clouds in the sky. In the same way, we can notice our emotional being. And just see, what is your emotional state at this moment? No need to do anything with them. No need to make them bigger. No need to push them away. Just notice them, observe them. So we can be aware of the tactile sensation caused by the breath. Simply rising and falling off the abdomen. And just for a moment, hold that as our anchor. And from that place, let's check our motivation for being here, joining this session. Be your own therapist. What brings you here? What is your own personal motivation? What do you hope to get out of this session? And if we can, let's include an altruistic motivation. So Buddhism usually is focused on developing our consciousness, our mind, cultivating more positive qualities, being an even wiser and kinder person, being able to experience some more peace and happiness in our own lives. Yet also have an awareness that if we cultivate our own positive qualities, reduce our own unhelpful habits, we are also able to be of benefit to our surroundings, to our world. Initially, that will be our immediate surroundings. Let's hold the vision, the vast vision that eventually we may be able to benefit all beings, near and far. Let's bring that motivation with us as we open our eyes and return our attention to the here and now. So, welcome again to this session. So if you want to switch your camera on, that's welcome. I always like that, to have a sense of who is here, and it helps me to see who I'm talking to. But of course, total respect if you don't want to do that. But hello, Letitia and Barbara, great to see your faces. So first of all, before I go into any topics of my choice, I just want to open the space. Do you have a question, a topic? Some of you were here the previous sessions. Any questions left over from that, or any updates? This is an opportunity to then raise your hand, or raise your hand electronically, or simply start talking, and I can hear you. Yes, Katiana.
Do you have any favorite meditations for anxiety?
Right, I think that's a very good one. Yes, anxiety. Yes, I've been working with that for the past 2.5 years. So yes, I think one meditation that I find very helpful is in a way something we've done here in the beginning of the session. Because these meditations where we look at the body and simply do a body scan of what is there in the body and what is there in our emotional state and what are our thoughts. I found that a very helpful meditation to actually look at, what is the current situation? Because anxiety usually brings us to think, oh, what if this were to happen, or what if that were to happen? Then what? While if we bring ourselves in the present and go like, well, at the moment I'm sitting here on this chair, the moment I'm here in this room. So you're in a room, so you can look at the room. So in a way, look at the current situation. At the moment, I'm breathing. I've had a night's sleep, and now or not, I don't know, but now I'm sitting here and I breathe. So that is something that I found very helpful. I don't know, how is that? Does that sound? How does that sound?
It's pretty helpful.
Are there specific things about anxiety? What kind of anxiety is your anxiety? You want to say something about that?
Yeah, it's like getting ready to have kind of a big conversation with somebody.
Right, yes. Yes. So that's a very good one. So in a way, if you know that already, so you can prepare yourself in advance. And maybe earlier in the day to do a meditation like this, like, well, I'm here with my body and my mind. And so that is one possibility to do that in advance. And sometimes when I have a difficult conversation to do, I do a little meditation with the person. Before I go to the meeting them, I do a little meditation. For example, a loving kindness meditation. So if I'm a little nervous, I don't know what the person will say, or maybe it's my boss, or it's someone I'm having a difficulty with. You can do a loving kindness meditation. Have you done those or heard about those? Yeah, so that is something where first of all, you give love to yourself. You say, okay, I'm good. I do the best I can. I'm here gonna go into this conversation, very courageous. So first you send love to yourself. So I'm okay, I'm good. I'm not perfect, but I'm good. And then in a way extend that loving kindness, first of all, to other people in your life, if you have the time before that. First of all, send loving kindness to someone that is easy, maybe a best friend, or maybe your cat, or, or somebody you think, I really, or someone who is sick, so you send loving kindness to them, which is a bit easy. And then also to send loving kindness to that person you need to have a conversation with and you're nervous about, and go like, okay, how would that be? And maybe that's a bit challenging, but think, they also do the best they can. And maybe you had previous interactions with them that were a bit difficult, but, in a way, do your best to send loving kindness and some positive energy towards them. So that is a suggestion I have that can help the situation, because the result will be that you are a little bit more peaceful and relaxed and in a good mood as much as possible, and that may have an effect on the conversation. I don't know, that's a suggestion that comes to mind. How does that sound?
It sounds good.
Yeah. So try it out and see what happens. Oh, yeah. Right. Thank you for your question. Anyone else with a current topic? Because otherwise, I would like to talk a little bit today about attachment. So, so the past few weeks we've talked a bit about anger, about dealing with be your own therapist and deal with difficult situations on the outer and on the inner. So I think they go both ways. So today I want to talk about attachment. Lisa, you have a question? Or
Yes, hi.
yes, hi.
Hi. Yeah, I just wanted to know, like, how would one go about dealing with a difficult family member? Well, not difficult, but this family member just doesn't respect boundaries and makes you feel uncomfortable because this member says things that are offensive or sometimes says things that could be hurtful or triggering. And you've already, said to them, don't do that. But there's a uneasiness of not feeling psychologically safe around them because you don't know what they're going to say that's going to offend you, that's going to make you feel anxious, that's going to make you feel upset. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, good question. So in a way, there are a lot of different possibilities or ways of dealing with that. So over the past, so one is in a way to be aware of it. I mean, you mentioned this topic about respecting boundaries. I think one is to be really aware of it in the moment when it is happening. In a way to slow the situation down. So one is actually to have a daily practice I don't know if you have a daily practice to actually where you notice your own being, your own thoughts, your own feelings, so that when you are in the presence of another person, you're actually aware. Sometimes it helps to be aware of situations before they happen. Do you know that one? So sometimes you already see something coming, and then you can, in a way, deal with the situation better rather than if the person has already, made an uncomfortable comment or did not respect your boundaries. So I think you are aware that is happening with certain people. So now a next step could be to actually be aware of it and be very present and alert on it when you meet that person. And so another would be actually this meditation that I just explained to Katiana about loving kindness, to actually work with loving yourself in advance. So that is this loving kindness meditation is a practice. I don't know. Have you heard about that, or have you done that?
I've heard about it. I haven't done it very much, but it's a strategy. Yes, it's definitely a strategy to help with. Yeah, I don't want to discount this person out of my life because, she's got a good heart, but I think she's just not. Yeah, I don't know, how to deal with this member.
Right. Yes. So in a way, because I don't know you, so I don't know how, if you, some of the Buddhist methods can actually be very helpful. Methods about loving kindness meditation, to actually practice them. If you have access to it, to actually practice them, that might be something to do. So there are, in a way, the Buddhist methods. So here I'm in a Buddhist center or Buddhist, so I go let's do Buddhist methods. So you can use meditations of loving kindness or equanimity or those type of things where you see that we've done equanimity meditation a few weeks ago, where you see that, the people we like, people we don't like, and the people who are neutral, that these roles can change. So it's not that our friend is always lovely and always wonderful, because sometimes we find our friends quite annoying, isn't it? I mean, I do. And so, but sometimes we have a difficult person, like now you have someone who said that person is difficult, but maybe they were not always difficult. Maybe, some time ago you didn't know them, or maybe some time ago you thought they were really lovely and they were quite good. So these roles of people we like, we dislike, and we don't care about, they change. And that is actually, that's how it is. So instead of thinking, my friend is always lovely and good and fantastic and will always do really nice things and say really friendly, supportive things, well, that could change. And the same that a really difficult person, maybe they can be very annoying quite often, but maybe at some point they do something really very kind and helpful and brilliant. You never know. So to be aware of that situation, that actually that is a reality, that sometimes that can happen, so that when suddenly our friend says something really unpleasant, or an unpleasant person does something really kind and interesting, we're not so shocked. We go like, oh, hey, now it's going a bit more that way. So that can sometimes help. Then, yeah, I also noticed that sometimes I find it helpful to also include some non-Buddhist practices. So I hope it's okay to say that here, but there are also, if we have a difficult relationship, sometimes it helps to actually speak to a person using another format. A very popular one is nonviolent communication, where you actually say things to a person in a more structured way. I don't know if you heard about that.
Yes.
Yes. So again, I don't know if you've practiced that, but to be honest, I find that very helpful. And I use them in combination with Buddhist methods. So in my own practice, when I have difficulty with someone, which happens, I use these inner methods and meditations. But sometimes I still need to have a method to speak about the person, and and actually split up the different aspects, to say, instead of having a whole combination of difficult thoughts and feelings and facts and emotions all in one blob, we can separate them and say like, well, I notice, you said that and that just now. And then you can say, I imagine you don't care so much about my boundaries, or you're not so aware of my boundaries. And that's what you mentioned. And then
Yes,
like,
yeah.
I feel hurt, or I feel awful, I feel sad, I feel angry, I feel, I don't know, whatever you feel, you can say, I feel that and that when you do that. And then I want, or I need to find a way to communicate together, or to find a way to figure it out, because I want to hang out with you, but can we do it in a different way, or something, I don't know, I'm just making it up now.
Yes, no, that sounds very helpful. Thank you.
Great. Good luck. You can Google it, that use that little structure. You can even practice it at home. I do that often. Before I have a difficult conversation, I practice at home. My little secret. Just, I put a chair there. As I imagine difficult person, you sit there, and I do my little rehearsal, and it can help.
Thank you.
Okay, no problem. Good luck with it.
Thank you.
Right. Anyone else? Right. Yes, I wanted to say a little bit about attachment. And also I want to do a little meditation. So, and since we talked about this loving kindness, who knows, we may do that one. Let's see what happens. So one of the difficulties or challenges that often come up, so last week we talked about anger, and the other end of the scale is attachment. So attachment is not the same as love. Attachment is a quality, is a state of mind that perceives an object as attractive, but then exaggerates the attractiveness and regards it as a cause of happiness and wants to possess it or retain it and keep it the same. So attachment is not the same as love. In our many of our cultures, we often use them intertwined, but love is a wish. In Buddhism, love is a wish to make someone happy. And attachment is more sort of that needy quality, like, I want this because then I'll be more happy. Instead of, how can I make you happy and what can I do to support you? So what's wrong with attachment? So attachment is a quality that actually disturbs our mind. It can sometimes lead us to do silly or dangerous things. It exaggerates the positive qualities. So our moods can go up and down. If we're happy with what we get, we're happy. But if we don't get what we want, then we are usually unhappy. Sometimes if someone we are attached to is depressed or angry, we become that too. You know that one, if you are attached to someone who is very angry, we also become angry. If they're depressed, we also become depressed. Attachment leads to dissatisfaction because however much we have, we always want more. So that's it is in a way, attachment is in a way like drinking salt water. The more, I've never drunk salt water, but they say if you drink salt water, the more you drink because you get more thirsty because there's all this salt in. And also the happiness or pleasure that we crave for, it does not last. It comes and goes. And also attachment that gives rise to other unhelpful qualities like anger or jealousy. So it leads to problems in our relationships. So in our relationships, when we're attached to someone, we actually want them to be in a certain way. We can have unrealistic expectations of that person. We can become dependent or possessive, and that's usually not very helpful. Attachment can also lead to negative actions like stealing or lying, which then again create a lot of problems. Attachment also can lead us to interference with our Dharma practice. If we say, I want to be a Buddhist practitioner, I want to meditate, I want to study, that's really helpful. But then attachment to, go to a nice party because that will make you happy. That can take you away from times of practice. So that's a possibility. I'm not saying you never should go to parties or any of these things, but in a way, it's like not having an unrealistic expectation that these activities or people that will really bring us happiness. So attachment is unrealistic. It does not see things correctly. So what do we do with that? So one of the antidotes of attachment is to reflect on impermanence, to reflect that things do change, that all our situations in life are impermanent and are changeable. So that the happiness or pleasure that we get from the things that we like, it doesn't last. And also that even when we get what we want, we immediately want something else. Okay, I promised to talk about pistachio ice cream. So here it is. So, so we have these things that we want. So let's say it is ice cream that we want. So we go to the shop and we get ice cream. Now, my favorite ice cream is pistachio. So if I'm somewhere and there is only strawberry ice cream, I'm in big trouble because, strawberry ice cream just doesn't do it for me. And even other ice creams, here we have Belgian chocolate ice cream and all sort of coconut ice cream and all sort of other things. It's nice, but it's still not pistachio ice cream. So you see the problem. So here I have my craving on a warm day. I finally go to the ice cream shop. I may need to queue for a long time for that ice cream, but when I'm at the counter, no pistachio ice cream. So you have a huge disadvantage of huge expectation, because I think pistachio ice cream, that will make me happy. Then I'm really happy. I'll be blissed out. And when I'm there, it's not there. And I need to, deal with second best. And that is with ice cream, but I think that is often with a lot of situations in life. So I don't know, maybe you have your own example of these different things where you think, well, that will make me happy, but in a way see the unrealistic aspect of it. Also look at what we need to do in order to get what we want. Recently, I was in Amsterdam, my hometown city, visiting a friend who was living there. And there was a huge queue in front of the ice cream shop. I'd never seen that shop before. And I thought there was a huge queue. So I thought people will need to queue for half an hour, 45 minutes, from what I could tell, in order to get their ice cream. So I don't know if it's really good ice cream. But sometimes when we think, well, that thing makes us happy, what are the amount of things you need to put up with in order to get that? So, Lisa, you have your hand up. Please speak to me.
Yes. What I'm wondering is, as you're speaking about attachment and we get attached to our friends,
Yeah.
how do you like, what's an antidote when, you start noticing that you're getting irritated, with a friend's sort of like habit, or how do you deal with and that irritation becomes anger? Like, how do you deal with that?
Yeah, very good. Very, very real example. So in a way, there are a lot of different. First of all, the good thing is you're noticing it. So you're observing an irritation. So again, you can check in your own system, in your own body. So where is that irritation? It's very good that you notice it. And often when we are irritated, we think, that person, they are irritating. They speak like this, or they say that, they are irritating. So, but when we realize that, one thing that can actually help is to simply notice, so where is that? Is it in your head, or in your heart, or in your stomach, or is it somewhere, where is it in your body? So that is one way actually to actually take it away from, in a way, our attachment to this person, like they do that and they make me unhappy, to actually simply feel that irritation and feel that in your body. That is one, that's not the only step, but that is one step where you can simply sit with that friend or whatever, you sit in the coffee shop or you have a chat and you go like, oh, wow, now I feel that irritation. And can you simply be there and feel it and keep breathing? So that is one of the steps. And another step is, we talked about it last week, to use things like when we perceive an imperfection in someone else that makes us irritated, we can actually look at, do we ever do that thing ourselves? maybe they talk too much or they make, inappropriate comments or whatever. And to actually think, have I ever done something similar? What is irritating me? Have I ever done that myself? And you may not, able to do that when you're in the conversation, but sometimes you can do that when you're back home and go like, what happened today? I suddenly got irritated. What was that about? And to reflect, and that takes courage, because that's not so easy. And it's not to put ourselves down or saying, oh, I'm a terrible person, but just to reflect. Do I ever do that? Because the Buddhists, they work with this law of karma and cause and effect. And they say, well, everything we experience in our lives, we must have created that. And it's usually a bit of a sobering thought, like, oh no, I'd rather blame someone else and point the finger at someone. But it's actually I find it very interesting and helpful to reflect on, have I ever done something similar, in this life, or maybe even in my past lives? And of course, we don't know our past lives, so you can go like, well, maybe, I don't know. But like, is that possible? And go like, well, it might be possible that we were annoying or talking too much or saying unpleasant things to someone else. I don't know.
Like, I have a friend, she's really nice, but I actually in listening to you and talking about like Buddhist methods and non-Buddhist methods, like I have like spoken to her about maybe, and like just I really like her as a friend, but I have a very hard time being around her for long periods of time because she's not much of a conversationalist. So it becomes like when we're together, it becomes a Q&A. Like I get so tired of answering constant questions from her. Like I just want to like deflate, de-stress and just be, and just, not have to feel like it's an interrogation, like Q&A. And so I did say to her, like, I don't really like, I said it in a nice way, like, I don't like answering questions all the time. Like it just, like I get exhausted. I said, just speak, just speak like freely, like, and we connect our thoughts that way, because like the constant questions just, it just really irritates me, right? And even at work, there are like staff members that I think they sense that I don't like personal questions. Like I don't know what it is about me, but I just don't like that kind of interaction where someone's constantly drilling me with questions. I just like free conversations, like just, easygoing. You connect things to experiences, right? So I've said to her like twice now, like, okay, like when we're together, I'll say, okay, like, can you just talk like just normal? And I'm feeling bad, but she's like, you know what? I'm so shy, or, I don't really have much to say. Like, I rather be the listener. And then like, I get in tune to like, I become aware of like her tick of like this, every time she says a sentence, she has to giggle about it, anytime and it just drives me insane. Like I get so irritated. Like, why is every sentence you say you have to chuckle and giggle? It's like an anxious kind of tick, and I'm like, I don't know how to deal with this.
Well, what I suggest, because usually I like doing a meditation, what my intuition is to do a loving kindness meditation, like right here, right now. So also with the previous question and the boundary thing, etc. So I would love to, that's my, my method is to actually practice. So rather than think about something, to actually do what is called so loving kindness meditation is partly an analytical meditation. So analytical is not scary or boring. It's more like we use our intellect, we use our experiences to actually work with something. So are you up for trying that? So
Yeah,
I'll
sure.
just lead it. It takes probably about 15 minutes or something like that. And it works with generating loving kindness, first to ourselves and then to others. And I found it a very helpful method, and it's quite experiential.
Okay.
So if you want to all join me again in taking a moment to let go of the words and the thoughts that are going on. Connect back with your body, your sit bones on the seat. Notice your breath. Notice your motivation. For a few moments, just notice your breathing, the gentle rising and falling of the abdomen. As we focus on loving kindness, let's first generate a feeling of loving kindness to ourselves. You can think of a moment where you felt very loving. Maybe you felt love to a cat or a friend, someone who is ill, or just someone you love very much. Remember what that feeling of love felt like. You can maybe sense that at a part in your body, maybe in your heart. Imagine that quality of loving kindness as a warm golden light. Before we love someone else, we need to be able to love ourselves. We don't need to criticize ourselves or feel guilty or anything. So we can think, may I be happy? May I be at peace? May my heart be open. May I be one with love. Imagine that golden light of loving kindness in your heart. Imagine it's getting larger and it's filling you, filling your whole body. Mind, your consciousness, filling your whole being. As we have a feeling of loving kindness to ourselves, we can stay there for a moment and deepen it and actually feel into it. Loving ourselves means accepting ourselves with our problems and with our imperfections. And saying, we're okay. And let's extend this loving kindness to another person. So first, let's imagine one person we currently like. We see as a friend, maybe someone needs some loving kindness. Maybe choose one person in your life you'd like to work with in the next few minutes. Someone you would like to send some loving kindness to. You remember how they look like, see their face. Know that just like we want to be happy, so do they. From your heart, imagine this golden light of loving kindness is effortlessly radiating towards them. Bringing a smile on their face, removing their worries or difficulties. We can think of this friend. May you be happy. May you be at peace. May your heart be open. May you be one with love. Maybe feel how you want your friends to be happy. And see them receiving this loving kindness. And then let go of this image, or maybe let this image of your friend fade a little to the background. Now, just for a few minutes, invite in the space in front of you. Bring a person you have some difficulties with. Someone you find irritating or annoying, or someone who has hurt you. There may be more candidates, but for now, just choose one person to work with for a few minutes. Imagine you see their face, you remember how they look like. And just for a moment, consider that just like we want to be happy, so do they. They behave the way they do because They don't know what else to do. They have their habits of behaving in a certain way. They may not be aware of it or have difficulties making other choices. So for a moment, just send some good wishes that they also may experience peace of mind, more happiness and satisfaction in their lives. Letting go of difficult or annoying behavior. From our hearts, let's imagine this golden light of loving kindness radiates towards them. We can repeat words silently for ourselves. For example, may you be happy. May you be at peace. May your heart be open. May you be one with love. Imagine there is some softening of their face. Imagine how they would be letting go of their difficult behavior towards us. Hold that possibility. Hold our wish that they may be free of suffering and problems, full of their own happiness and satisfaction. And then let's release this image of this person we found difficult. Let it go to the background. As we've contemplated that this friend and this difficult person both want happiness. Now, for a moment, let's consider that all beings everywhere want to have sense of peace and happiness, want love and be loved. For a moment, from our hearts, let's imagine that this infinite supply of warm golden light in our hearts, it effortlessly, without depleting us, radiates out to people near and far, to all beings near and far. Bringing whatever is needed in each situation. Thinking, may all be happy. May all be at peace. May all hearts be open. May all be one with love. Mm. Let's dedicate the positive energy of this meditation to our own ability to love ourselves, to love others, to love also with a sense of wisdom. To love those we like, those we find challenging. No, these roles can change. So let's dedicate this positive energy to us developing our fullest and highest potential. As that brings us in the best possible position to benefit others as well as ourselves. Thank you. Okay. So this was the loving kindness meditation, basically sparked off by some of the questions that came up. So this is a meditation you can do anytime. You can do it as a daily practice. You can do it occasionally when there is a reason, when you want to develop more loving kindness or when you have a difficult interaction. So yeah, happy practicing, because actually by doing this kind of inner work, it actually can help us to cultivate our own positive energy, and then gradually people in our lives may respond to that. It usually doesn't happen like after 20 minutes, but who knows? Check it out. Maybe it does. Hold that vision. But it's worth exploring that.
Thank you.
My pleasure. So thank you very much for attending this session. So for me, this is the end of my 4 sessions in July. Next week, there is another Be Your Own Therapist session with somebody else, another teacher. So join in. And I will be back in the first Tuesday of October. So then I do a couple of 4 or 5 or so sessions, beginning of October. So I very much look forward to see you then. Thank you, Lou, for holding the session, and thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Margo.
A pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.